Hello again. I'm now going to teach you the practice that I addressed in the preparatory podcast for this one, so that from now on you have a way to reconcile and make friends with whatever feelings and inner states you dislike, resent, can't handle, or just have learned to avoid in yourself. Remember, this is how being lonely turns into being alone, all one, with all that you are. So that instead of living cut off from yourself, you can become your own best friend. So that whether you're on your own or in the company of others, you like being you. And when you are alone, when there's no one to be with, you're content, because you feel rich with all that you've brought back into your life and being. Befriending all of your feelings and inner states is your journey towards becoming all one and happily at one with yourself. This is where we're going. The practice is in two parts. In part one, you learn the practice of befriending yourself. In part two, you learn how to apply this to any state and any happening in your life that is tough, challenging, difficult for you. Let's begin where you are right now, with how you are in your body, because this isn't a thinking practice. If you listened to my podcast talk, you'll be already familiar with the invitation to regard your body as the home of your being. This is, after all, where you live, as much of it as you're allowed to live in, that is. If you spend a lot of time up in the attic, hooked into those few cubic centimeters of grey matter, your brain, you tend to think life instead of living it. You're on the phone while life is happening. Thinking can keep you out of touch with your senses and feelings, and they are what connect you with real life happening. There's a fascinating house buzzing with life below the attic. How much of it are you enjoying? You may have learned to use your mind so that you don't have to go down and feel life. In any case, what we're about now is not life in the attic, but enabling you to appreciate, use, and enjoy your whole house. So, whether you're sitting, standing, or lying down, notice how and how much you inhabit this house of your being. Do you feel alive and connected with your body, or somewhat out of touch with it? As I talk now, take a little trip through your body. Give it your attention. Notice where you feel alive and where not. Notice especially the parts that you keep a hold on in some way or another, where you're tense rather than simply relaxed. This can be as ordinary as holding your hands a bit tight, folding your arms over your chest, clenching your jaw, keeping a stiff upper lip, frowning, holding your belly in, your legs stiff, and so on. Notice how you breathe. Full and flowing, or short and shallow. You don't need to change anything. Simply pay attention to how you're living in your body. At the end of this practice, you may like to compare how you are then with how you are now. In order to learn the practice, it's good to stand up, just because this helps you tune in with all that's going on in you. Stand with your feet about shoulder width apart and bend your knees just enough that your legs aren't stiff. This way, you allow your body its natural mobility. And bring your awareness to your breathing. Again, not changing it, just paying attention. The two great characteristics of being alive are breathing and moving. Even when you're completely still, there's so much movement happening in your body. See if you can sense it. And if you like, Let your body begin to move gently in whatever soft movement comes naturally. And tune in with those two basics of being alive. I breathe, I move. Now, close your eyes so that you can give all your attention to the life going on inside your body. Try to let go of any tendency to open your eyes. People do that either because they don't want to say hello to their inner life, or because they've learned to be always on guard, so they feel compelled to keep an eye on the outer world. Closing your eyes is so that you can see inwards. Aware of your breathing. When you came out of your mother's body at the beginning of your life, the first thing you did was to breathe in. The last thing you will ever do in the final moment of your life is breathe out. That's how significant your breathing is. Let's focus first on breathing in. Can you imagine, I doubt you can remember, how you touched all the life in you with that first breath in? That's how I invite you to breathe in now, with the sense that the air you're breathing in is like fingers touching, stroking you from the inside, touching alive all that you are. This is, after all, the very nature of oxygen. It brings life. So let the touch of your breath reach through your body all the way into your feeling life. Have you ever noticed that when you feel deeply, you breathe more? The same applies the other way around. The more you breathe, the more you feel. So as I'm talking, each time you inhale, you're there in your breathing, touching whatever you're feeling and experiencing here now. And in so doing, you're bringing yourself more and more alive. Even if you're feeling nothing, breathe into it. And don't get busy analysing or even labelling your feelings. That's just you heading for the attic to get away from all this feeling life. And now you exhale. As you breathe out, allow yourself that quality of relaxing that is like the final breath of life. Not that you have to fall down, simply relax any tensions you're holding as you breathe out. The way you might, for example, in a moment of complete relief when all that was going wrong suddenly comes right. Or you're finally home after a long, strenuous day at work. Let your breath fall all the way out of you, not pushing it and not breathing only halfway out either, which is how some people live their entire lives, never really breathing out freely because holding on to it is a way of keeping control. No, what you're doing is allowing every breath out to be a relaxed surrender. And what are you surrendering to? To all that you just breathed into. In short, you're letting yourself be. Every breath out is you accepting whatever you touched as you breathed in. Be in this now, touching your feelings as you breathe in and letting them be as you breathe out. What are you doing? You're making friends with whatever you're feeling here and now. Happy, sad, angry, confused, turned on. You can even be friendly towards feeling nothing. The important thing is allowing the friendliness that is there in your relaxed breathing out. And notice, you aren't required to express any of your feelings. That's a choice you have depending on your circumstances. Sometimes it's not appropriate to express feelings, but it is always appropriate, and much more, to feel them, because they are yours. They belong to you. To establish this in yourself gives you the means to be always connected, always present, and always in touch with yourself and with life. If this appeals to you, there's a simple way to bring it about, to make it simply the way you are. All you have to do is choose from now on to practice it quite casually whenever you remember to do so in your everyday life. It does require you to remember, of course, and until it becomes a routine and becomes a habitual way of living your life, you can use your smartphone to help you. Have the same ringtone for your timer that you have for incoming calls. Set the timer to go off every 2 or maybe 3 hours as you prefer throughout the day. And when it does so, find just a minute or two to let go of whatever you're doing and to go into the practice. Just long enough to remind you how rich you are when you give yourself this connection with your inner being. Then reset the timer and go on with your life. Do this every day until you no longer need to, because it's simply established in you. And the reason for having the same ringtone as your calls is so that whenever someone calls you, that in itself will remind you to breathe in touch and friendliness with all that you are here now. Okay, now part 2. Using the practice you've just learned, this is how you can take care of yourself when life tests you and you find yourself confronting feelings and inner states that you fear, judge, reject, or find yourself desperately trying not to feel. To learn how to do this, I'm going to ask you for now to tune in with one of these states or feelings, a feeling you have a hard time letting be in you. It doesn't matter whether it's something inherently unpleasant like feeling angry or afraid or lonely, of course, or on the other hand, something that should be pleasurable but isn't for you, like being in love, or full of passionate desire, or simply free to celebrate ecstatically. All that matters is to choose something that's not easy for you. And since this is a learning session, I wouldn't choose the most challenging thing you can come up with. I'll say more about that at the end. This time, depending on what you're choosing to explore, decide intuitively whether you want to stand, sit, or lie down. You may like to have nearby something soft, a cushion or a pillow, for example, that you can hug as you go deeper into your adventure, especially if you're going to explore some kind of tender feeling state. And as long as you let yourself into it, it is going to be an adventure. Your 2 great allies are the courage to fully experience all that happens as you breathe in, and your trust to surrender to that as you breathe out. Once again, close your eyes and bring yourself into the breathing that enables you to be fully in touch with your here and now experience. With every breath in, you're touching alive whatever is going on in you. And as you breathe out, you're relaxing in friendly acceptance of it. You are alive and surrendered to yourself. Now, just as I described in my podcast talk, imagine yourself in your body and being as a house. Keep your eyes closed throughout this practice so that you're not distracted by the outside world. Give yourself instead the sense of looking inwards, looking into the home of your being. Your home has all kinds of rooms in it. Every room is a feeling or an inner state. There are the rooms, the states and feelings that you feel free to spend time in. And there are the rooms you don't like to enter and maybe completely avoid. These are the feelings that you don't like in yourself. Each of them is a room with a no entry sign on its closed door. For a few moments, give yourself the opportunity to recognize how you may have designed the way you live in your house so that you don't have to go into these rooms. For example, avoiding your sadness and your vulnerability by getting busy with something to do when those feelings crop up. Or look at the ways you found to suppress your playfulness, your wildness, your sexual passion, because you've been brought up to regard them as forbidden. You know the feelings and inner states that you're not okay with. And if by accident you find yourself entering one of them, usually you get out as fast as you can, or you deaden yourself. Anything, so you don't have to feel being in this state, this room in the house of your being. Now imagine yourself walking towards the room that is made of the forbidden state or feeling you've chosen to explore. You're standing in front of its closed door. Look at the no entry sign. Breathe with all that goes on in you, even as you imagine entering this room. Maybe in looking at the no entry sign, you can get a sense of the strategy you habitually use to avoid going in there. And now, reach out, take hold of the door handle, and begin to open the door. It's very important that you keep touching alive all that goes on in you as you breathe in, and let it be however it is in you as you breathe out. So standing in the doorway, breathe into your courage to meet all that is in this room. Remember, this is not a room that you like, so you may be inclined to close the door and turn away. Instead, breathe in the air and the energies of this room and dare to let them come to you. It may be scary at first. That's okay. Then just allow yourself to feel all that being afraid is like in you, in your body, in your pulse, in your breathing. And whatever you're experiencing, open yourself to it. As you walk all the way into the room, let its qualities touch you in every possible way. Let the air of this feeling state swirl around you and flow into you. Let it come alive in you as you breathe it in. And remember, with every breath out, let your body relax with all that is happening in you. You're saying hello to what you have up to now shunned or demonized. From moment to moment, keep finding the courage to embrace all that you're experiencing. As you more and more allow yourself to be with all that is in this room, open your whole body and being to receive its qualities and energies. Remember, even if you're feeling nothing, make friends with that. Breathe into it. Let it envelop you and surrender to it as you breathe out. Whatever you're experiencing, no judging, no analysis, and no trying to make anything different from how it is. This is where your reconciliation begins. Not in labeling and processing, not even in trying to understand. Simply in letting yourself be here. And every moment you're receptive to the invitation to open yourself deeper and deeper and deeper into the space you're in. Allowing this feeling state to play however it plays in you. Everything is allowed, from grief, anger, fear, apprehension, nothing, all the way to exuberant excitement, desire, love, ecstasy. No matter, go beyond any labels and become one with the rich mystery of all you're feeling. This is the air you're breathing. Let all that lives in this room play so freely in you that you and the room are becoming one. The life in this room is living in you, and all you're doing from moment to moment is allowing yourself all its colours, all its aliveness, all the ways it touches you. And with every breath out, you're making friends with all that you're experiencing. And to make the sense of befriending even richer, as you breathe in and out, consciously embrace all you're experiencing. This is where the pillow or cushion can come in useful. You can hug it as a way of embracing all that you're experiencing. And with your eyes still closed, play with the sense of looking into this room, this inner space. And listen into it too. Invite it to reveal itself to you. Whatever you see and hear and feel is deeply, personally your own. It may have shape and form. It may be quite intangible. Images may arise. You may find yourself encountering old memories that are tied into whatever you're feeling. If they're unpleasant, try to see them as old movies, things from the past, while you keep breathing into the feelings that are really present in you here now. These are what you're befriending. Never mind what happened in the past. Instead, keep making friends with all that you're feeling here and now. If it makes you cry or makes you laugh, surrender to that. And as you become completely immersed in it, allow the space its own way of addressing itself to you. You don't have to make this happen. Just be receptive. Whether through words or sensations or feelings, allow this space to express itself, to give you whatever it has to give you, to inform you, to guide you. You're simply allowing it to befriend you as you befriend it. You're reconciling with this feeling state that truly belongs to you. You are reclaiming this room in the home of your being. Every time you breathe out, you're receiving the gift of trust in your own feeling experience. It's a part of you, a part that you became afraid of for no good reason, only because there were things that happened in your past that caused you to become afraid of it, to mistrust it, to stay away from it. Now, with your courage and your trust, you're freeing yourself from those old ghosts. You're breathing in these colours of your feeling life. You're letting it all touch you and flow in you. And every breath out, you're saying, I let you be in me, and I let myself be in you. And slowly turn round, taking in the whole room. Give yourself a 360-degree experience of everything here. And having done so, slowly make your way now towards the door. Breathe with all that is alive in you as you walk out of the room, and standing a moment facing the room. If you feel reconciled with it, leave the door open. Let its energies flow out to merge peacefully with all the energies of your house. If you feel not yet fully reconciled, you may like to close the door for now. You can even keep the no entry sign on it if you like, or if you prefer, remove it. In any case, as you stand here, recognize that you can choose to visit this room as many times as you like. If you make a point of coming here whenever you feel the need, it will become a more and more valuable resource and ally in your life. That may already be happening. And to bring your adventure to an end, take the time you need to relax out of it, to open your eyes or to keep them closed. Perhaps you want to hang out here a while. You may like to cast your mind back to how you were at the start and to notice whatever may be different in you now. Finally, just 30 seconds of information for you, so you may want to press the pause button if you're not yet ready for that. And if you are, here it is. If you didn't yet listen to the talk on which this practice is based, you can find it wherever you found this podcast. It's called Being Lonely, Avoiding Loneliness, and Being Alone. And you can find out about my Art of Being workshops and upcoming Zoom meetings at artofbeing.com. Hopefully, we'll one day meet each other. For now, bon voyage.